Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic:
who has most successfully milked what should have been 15 minutes of fame? That salt sprinkling prick guy was charging wealthy idiots obscene amounts of money for just regular fucking steaks and got pitch side at the World Cup for no reason whatsoever. He's a fucking legend in my eyes to have hoodwinked that many wealthy people with the dumbest gimmick ever. I was thinking about the World Cup thing yesterday. I just don't understand. How? Why? Why was he there? Who let him there to celebrate with the greats? He has no relevance to anything there at all. Bad Babby, aka Danielle Peskowitz Brigoli. Cash May outside. How about that? Quote, one episode on Dr. Phil, where he intended to exploit her and trash her on live TV. She just proved. Receipts for $52 million on OnlyFans and bought a house in Florida for $6.1 million cash. Hate all you want. But I challenge anyone to do better quicker. Face with spiral eyes. Edit. Just to add, since this answer blew up beyond belief, I added those two figures in just as an icing with a cherry on top. Cap. Not to imply that is her sole source of income. She is making money other places and ways besides OnlyFans like music and YouTube. She is currently 20 years old. Agree with this. Interestingly, she's also got a scholarship program that awards scholarships for those pursuing trade school or higher education, as well as grants for startups. Honestly, I'm glad she's seemingly making the best of it and helping people in return. Looking at what she's done with her life, she gives off the impression that she's just playing the fool while being the smartest person in the room, much like Paris Hilton. At 13, she was smart enough to figure out how to leverage her meme status into a record deal with Atlantic and got 2 platinum records out of it by the time she was 16. At 17, she had the self-awareness to check herself into rehab to address her addiction issues and past trauma. At 18, she grifted a bunch of creeps and made herself a multimillionaire with her millions of dollars. Instead of big ballon, she bought a house, had a financial planner start investing it, started a scholarship program for troubled teens, started a successful makeup line and her own record label, and now she's working with Paris Hilton to take down teen boarding schools that are known for abuse. The woman is fucking smart and she intentionally hides it behind a trashy caricature of herself. Edit. Just to add more to the smart lady pile. When she left Atlantic Records in 2021, she left with ownership of the master recordings of all her songs she did while she under them. That alone is a hard fight to win against a record label. Taylor Swift didn't even pull that off and is having to re-record everything. I used to work with Paris Hilton sometimes when I worked in nightclubs, and the amount of people who don't realize her public persona is all an act is funny to me. That's not even her real voice. She is an incredibly smart businesswoman. Everything from her sex tape to her vapid ditzy personality was all calculated to make money. Good for her, honestly. She basically siphoned 52M out of the hands of creeps who were counting down the days for her to turn 18. All because some other creep wanted to use her as a sideshow on TV when she was 13. Now she's set for life unless she's dumb enough that she never hired a financial planner. Apparently she's also working with Paris Hilton on the teen abuse camp thing that Paris is championing. So that's good. Probably Jared from Subway. I believe someone at his university wrote a story about his unusual method of weight loss, which was then picked up by national news outlets. Then Subway put him in an ad that was unusually successful, which ended up leading to 15 years of being the face of their brand internationally. Then things went downhill pretty fast from there. I went to the same school Jared went to. He famously lived in the apartments above the Subway near campus. The rumor I heard was that he was creeping out a teenage employee at the Subway. So she got transferred to the one downtown, a couple miles away. Instead of eating at the Subway below his apartment, he would walk to the one downtown every day to see this teenage girl. So it really wasn't the sandwiches that made him lose weight. It was because he was walking daily to see an underage girl. Removed. Dr. Phil. In 1995, Oprah Winfrey hired Phil McGraw's legal consulting firm to prepare for the Amarillo, Texas beef trial. Winfrey was so impressed with him that she thanked him for her victory in that case, which ended in 1998. Soon after, she invited him to appear on her show, which turned into a recurring segment. He turned that into his own show and now 25 years in the spotlight. He sucks as a therapist. For some reason has a very strange interest in publicly exposing the sexual side of what happens to people, and has that bad habit of wanting to send young people to those disgusting abusive youth correction camps. Do not forget his most excellent episode where the creator of the Bum Fights video showed up on Dr. Phil's show, dressed as Dr. Phil, to make the argument that he was doing nothing more than following Phil's example of exploiting vulnerable people for his own gain. https www.youtube.com/watch v = can pvds jsque. Lol, I just watched the it. The hypocrisy of claiming moral high ground after showing the whole pre-planned video is hilarious. There's a really good Behind the Bastards two-parter about him. He sucks way harder than you think he does, TBH, he's a real piece of shit. Same with Dr. Oz. He was medical segment on her show, explaining complicated medical things in a simple way. Then he would be a sponsor for anything and got in trouble. It's like anything Oprah touches turns to grift. Kim Kardashian. I mean, yeah. Love or hate that family, they have figured out how to keep themselves in the conversation. It is a really dumb conversation, but a conversation nonetheless. This is absolutely, UNEQUIVICALLY the correct answer. Becoming a billionaire based on sucking cock in a stolen video just can't be topped. I mean, really, it's fulfillment of the American dream, no? For $1 billion, I'd suck at least one cock. Possibly 37. In a row. Unfortunately, no one wants to see my tits and ass sucking cock. Well, at least not anyone willing to pay me $1 billion. Best I could get is probably $3.50. Kim Kardashian. OJ's lawyer's daughter fucked a C-list rapper and now her family is worth $1 billion. I don't know how this isn't the unequivocal top answer. She was literally an irrelevant socialite before gaining a few minutes of notoriety. And she parlayed that into a bona fide empire for her entire family. The collective net worth of every other person mentioned in this thread combined is probably less than the net worth of the Kardashians. That convict with the blue eyes or whatever. Oh, hot felon, and he went on to marry Chloe Green with no prenup and had kids with her, then walked off with her shitton of money. Still mind-blowing to this day. The stars aligned for that dude when that mugshot was taken. Because I've never seen another picture where he looked as handsome. He's very attractive in the high fashion, edges and angles, unique features kind of way. I'm not an expert on any of that. But I did spend an embarrassing amount of time watching ANTM as a teen and noticed that what they consider the most desirable in that industry doesn't always correlate to what someone would consider the most desirable person overall. Especially when it comes to men. On the other hand, I might just have a lumberjack complex lol. Waiting for the stars to align for me. Hopefully not for a mugshot. I mean this not in a negative way at all. Because, milking it, seems negative. But Brittany Broski became a meme for tasting kombucha and then took that opportunity to build an empire. Mad respect. She's one of the people who I think deserve it. Exclamation mark. She's genuinely hilarious. To think the firm she worked for gave her an ultimatum. And she had the courage to seek out this new opportunity fate had thrown on her laps. She's a real success story. Guy Fieri. He was a contestant on a reality cooking show in 2005 Food Network. He went on to win and then parlay that into almost 20 years of hosting shows. Multiple restaurants owned and a lot of other successful ventures. The show he won ran for 14 seasons with 14 winners. Does anyone remember the other 13? Guy definitely seized his 15 minutes and ran with it. I'll always respect him for using the platform to highlight hundreds of small businesses across the US. It might not be a good show, but it's a good show. I like how the show feels like a guy and one camera person just dicking around the US. Nothing super professional, he's just trying really good food and having fun. I've also heard he's a genuinely good guy too. The dude is a legitimately entertaining presenter. I have no qualms with his fame, he earned it. Not most successful, but people talked about Ken Bone way more than I would have expected. I was kind of hoping not to show up on this thread. Respect for not nuking the account at the first sign of trouble. Ironically, it's his Reddit post history that did him in. Can't believe he didn't create a new account. His was full of comments on pregnant porn subreddits. His comments were so wholesome and appreciative too. There was one of a lady swimming and he passionately referred to her as a submarine lol. Beautiful human submarines. William Hung stuck around a good while. Big William Hung fan, huh? Quote, why does everyone keep asking me that? Who the hell is that? Exclamation mark. Quote, if doing the scan is gay then I'm the biggest queer on earth. Maybe one of the few cases where I'm not even mad about it. As far as I know. He's famous for nothing but having a gracious attitude in the face of rejection. And from Simon Cowell no less. I can only name a small handful of winners of American Idol. But who will ever forget William Hung? He seemed like such a genuinely gracious, nice, intelligent guy who was just happy for the opportunity. Not a great singer, but had the kind of enthusiasm that would make for a fun karaoke experience. Watching that for the first time in almost 20 years, I'm struck by two things. 1. Holy shit, he was a baby. I thought he was like in his 30s when I was a kid. 2. His voice is actually fine. And I bet he's a joy at karaoke. Mock trial with Judge Reinhold. Guy Fawkes. It's been over 400 years and we still celebrate him every year in the UK. Not that he lived long enough to enjoy his infamy. Had a girl of about 8 come to my door at Halloween with a Guy Fawkes mask on and I was all, remember the 5th of November? And she just sorta blankly stared at me. I was all like, cool Guy Fawkes mask. She said, I don't know who that is. I said, your mask. Quote. She said, I'm a hacker. She probably stared blankly at you because of the mask. You win for the longest run with fame. Ken Jennings. I feel like most people in his situation would have faded into obscurity after finally ending their Jeopardy winning streak. But he's now hosting the show. Edit. Yes, I know he was famous for a lot more than 15 minutes while on his streak. But I kind of expected that fame to go away about 15 minutes after the streak ended. For better or worse, he became as much of a star as Alex during that era. Pretty much changed the way the game is played. And then crushed it as the host. I also don't know if the show would have continued after Trebek's passing without him. I can't think of anyone else with both the skill set and the connections to the show to where it would feel right to have them hosting. Then again, nobody's become a true star since him. Holtzhauer and Schneider became newsworthy, but they're far from household names now the way Jennings was this far after his run. The thing is, he didn't milk it. He wrote a book after his winning streak. And was silent until they kept inviting him back over and over and over for every tournament of champions and special event ever. Jeopardy has successfully milked Ken Jennings for his fame more than the other way around.